Yes, I'm really about to justify rich people-ish. Bear with me.
There's no romance. What's the point? Just kidding. Maybe.
Yo, it's Anne, aka Antagonist. Welcome back to my channel. So I was bored and I stumbled upon my Netflix account because filling my time with something productive physically hurts. Anyways, a trailer started playing. Normally I kind of hate that because for a lot of these videos, I have to get clips from Netflix and maybe I happen to be editing in a cafe and a trailer starts playing and she's just very loud in the cafe and nobody asked for that. But luckily I was at home, so we were safe. The trailer started playing and I saw this angsty teenage girl yelling at her parents and evaluating her relationship with God and her religion. And I was like, yeah, that's for me. That's for me. It's for me. So here's my video and review about You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah and Nepotism. You Are So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah, directed by Sammy Cohen and starring Sunny Sandler, is a 2023 coming-of-age dramedy that follows our main character, Stacy. Stacy's freshly 13 and is about to celebrate her bat mitzvah, aka the coming of age ceremony for women of the Jewish faith. Stacy and her best friend Lydia are attached at the hip, and their bat mitzvahs are only a week apart from each other. Both girls have dreamed of having an epic celebration and are very excited and involved in planning each other's bat mitzvahs. However, drama with a certain popular boy and just regular middle school drama causes a rupture in their friendship, which really messes up things for Stacy and their respective bat mitzvahs. The film was based on a young adult novel of the same title by Fiona Rosenblum and was later adapted to screen by Alison Peck. The way I would best describe the film is Bride Wars meets Edge of 17, but make it Jewish. The film manages to capture the tone and the essence of many coming-of-age films. It's like one of those contemporary films where you're following a teenage girl and nothing like really happens. And that's no Tino shade. I love those movies. I hope to make one day. Think of your book smarts, 8th grade, Edge of 17s, Lady Bird, which I still haven't seen, and Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, that was released earlier this year. That's just all to say that this film was already set up to be a success in my books, and it comes to no surprise that I really enjoyed it. If you're familiar with Edge of 17, one of my favorite movies of all time, you'll see that a lot of its plot beats are paralleled in this film. You have the inseparable best friends, a betrayal, the main character doing a lot of stupid stuff to impress a boy, the incredibly sweet and doting boy that the protagonist has overlooked since time in favor of an unremarkable boy with cute hair. However, more so in You're So Not Invited, the film hammers in on themes of friendship, morality, integrity, and growing up. Especially the friendship part. Like, I actually reflected and learned something from this film. I did. Essentially, the beef between Lydia and Stacy is over a boy and a whole crush situation, if you haven't already guessed it. And Lydia is the one who carries out the betrayal to spite our main character. For a long time while watching the movie, I was just thinking, why should Stacy forgive Lydia? She carried out the betrayal. And don't get me wrong, it's not like Stacy lies down when she's betrayed. Like, Stacy gets her licks in with Lydia. She does. But I still hadn't seen Lydia act in a way that deserved forgiveness. But then the movie punched me square in the face and said, yeah, that's friendship, you dummy. Like, they really had to spell it out for me. Friendship is one of the purest forms of love. And love is what? It's patient, it's kind, does not envy, does not boast, it's not easily angered, keeps no records of wrong. Come through, Bible camp. It's not a tit for tat. We could sit here and compare what Stacy did to what Lydia did, but that's not what matters. What matters is that Stacy and Lydia both have genuine love for each other and want to work on their friendship. And forgiveness means washing it all away. I don't necessarily think that Lydia and Stacy are going to be best friends forever, but it's what's at present that matters most. Those two girls feel at home with each other, which is incredibly special and necessary when you're 13. Another aspect I really liked about the film was that Stacy's family was not erased from the equation. They were very much key players and affected the plot in smart and realistic ways. I find too often in a lot of contemporary media, the parents are just completely erased from the narrative. But overall, coming of age films tend to do a better job at exploring and showcasing familial relationships, whether it's at the forefront of the story or not. They could have had the parents and her relatives involved in the film more, but I actually found that they gave space for the story to happen without it being overbearing. The movie is about Stacy's middle school drama and her crush, But her family is just as important in helping her navigate through that and holding Stacy accountable. I also noticed some really cool choices with the shots that were made in the film. I won't pretend to know too much of anything when it comes to cinematography.
Oh my god! Wow!
But if we took this scene from the movie, although it's simple, I love the imagery behind it. In this scene, Stacy's dad is speaking to her, asking her what's going on in her life and why she seems so distracted. But Stacy's not really listening, and that's paralleled by her father being out of focus in the shot. And notice how he still takes up most of the frame, while Stacy's the one in focus, but she's barely in frame. It's a great symbolistic way of showcasing the lack of understanding between the two characters in the car. I also think it's kind of a metaphor for the relationship between parents and their tweens. Because at that age, your parents are still very much central in your life, but there's an inevitable distance between the child and the parent that is starting to grow because you're understanding each other less and less, and things are becoming more out of focus and fuzzy because you're questioning your relationship to them and your own existence. Too deep? Maybe. I don't want to speak too much on the Jewish representation part of the film because I'm not Jewish. But from an outside third party perspective, with no information whatsoever, it seemed like it was well integrated in the film. It felt natural and seamless to me. And I can't get the Bim Bim Bom song out of my head. I obviously do have some criticisms of the movie. No film is flawless. My main gripes of the film are with some of the comedic choices they made. Like all the parts with the middle school kids, giggle boots. Kikiing, smiling, laughing, having a good time. Stacy and her entire friend group had excellent comedic timing. Scenes between the classmates were gold. Chef's kiss. Rabbi Rebecca was really funny and was able to play off the kids really well as well. Just anytime someone was interacting with a middle grade kid, it was giving comedy. It was giving ha ha ha. But anything outside of that left a lot to be desired. Like there's a bit where Stacy's older sister Ronnie and her friend keep watching movies on their phone in inappropriate places and they get interrupted. That bit was for what? Where's the punchline? I'm still looking. Any scene or segment with DJ Shmuley had me wanting to gouge my eyes out. He's possibly the most unfunny character I've ever seen. Also, it was especially disappointing to me that Stacy's older sister Ronnie was reduced to a bit, and a very unfunny one at that, because the way her character is introduced and the way the sisters bounce off each other in their opening scene was so great and natural. They had a lot of chemistry as a family unit in general, and that scene immediately showcased the bond between the sisters and was a smart way of establishing that they have each other's backs even if they get on each other's nerves sometimes. And that was refreshing to see, only for the film not to do anything meaningful with that. It would have been so easy to have Ronnie involved in the resolution of the film, or had her talk to Stacy during her dark all is lost moment. That would have been the cherry on top.
They tell me that I'm never gonna make it.
So the elephant in the room when it comes to this film is that it was 100% for sure, no doubt about it, a family affair. As in, these people are all related. And it's not the first time that Adam Sandler has had his daughters in his films, or the first time that an actor has had their children in their movies for that matter. It is, however, the first time I felt the need to vehemently defend this nepotism case. I haven't seen any hate towards Sunny Sandler regarding the nepotism, but just in case, I want to get my arguments out there and proactively defend her. Yes, I'm really about to justify rich people-ish. Bear with me. So yeah, it's easy to say nepotism bad. And it is in some forms bad and unfair to the people who don't have access to nepotism. But when people get so angry about nepo babies doing their thing, it would almost make it seem like those complaining are under the delusion that most cases in life or jobs that people get are earned solely under a meritocracy, which it is not. The unfortunate truth is that life ain't fair, darling. There's hardly anything meritocratic about getting a movie role. In fact, let's be real here, Hollywood specifically is the industry furthest from being a meritocracy. Okay, let's say Sunny didn't get the role. Someone else would have gotten it who deserved it better, but based on what? Because they don't have famous parents? Or would this hypothetical person be the best actor for the role? Which in itself is subjective. How do we know they wouldn't have just picked the prettiest girl in the audition room and called it a day? Is that based on merit? There's so many subjective factors that go into why an actor is cast in a movie role. It could depend if the casting director had iced coffee or hot coffee that day, or if you had the chance to do an in-person chemistry read, or if you have the look that the producers had in mind. They could have picked the person who had the most Instagram followers, and even if those followers were grown organically, does that make that person more deserving of the role over an unknown nepo baby?
No, ma'am.
Basically, the industry makes no sense. And can I truly be mad at a person, in this case, the Sandler sisters, for using their resources? In fact, in any other industry, would we even bat an eye? Like, does your fist clench every time you see Hardin and Sons hardware store? Or when you go to a nail salon run by a family? Just like those mom and pop shops, hardware stores, and even fashion empires, this is a family business to Adam Sandler as well. His business just happens to be movies. And if you're still trying to have the argument that all works in industries should strive to be a meritocracy, which isn't wrong, I think it's admirable to strive for that ideal. But it does seem lazy and disingenuous to attack the little man instead of the systems and leaders that put them on that platform in the first place. Now, obviously, I don't think we should just be giving roles to anyone who has a famous uncle or something. There's good reason why we champion those who come from nothing or humble beginnings and end up achieving stardom, because we know how hard that is. And an actor's connections should never be the sole reason that they get the role. But I wouldn't say that's the case here, because Sonny did great in the role. I also think it stuck out to me that Adam Sandler's other daughter, Sadie Sandler, was in the film, but took on a minimal role, as did Adam Sandler, which I think was interesting and great to watch. I might be rambling a bit, but basically I would have expected, and it would have been easy for Adam Sandler to have taken a bigger role in the film, but it really was about Stacy's 13-year-old girl problems. And also, if you hate nepotism that much, then you never get to watch Pursuit of Happiness again. And I, for one, would never subject myself to that kind of torture. All I'm saying is that if the nepo doesn't take away from the film, then is there really something to talk about? No. So, nepotism, fine, if movie good.
Tell me that I'm never gonna make it. They want me to do something that can make sense. They hate
If I had to give the film a rating, it would get a solid 8.5 out of 10. It did a great job of showcasing a realistic family. The main character was interesting, and I enjoyed being in her head. The subject matter and themes addressed were enlightening, especially that the film dedicated so much time to female friendship. It honestly loses a couple points for slight pacing and storytelling issues near the middle. And as I've mentioned before, there were a lot of jokes that didn't quite hit the way they should have. But the film really triumphs again with a great ending. If you haven't checked out the film, I would definitely recommend it, especially if slice of life and coming of age movies are your cup of tea like they are mine. But even if it's not your cup of tea, I think the acknowledgement of the importance of these kind of films is due. I think girlhood is one of the most interesting and nuanced parts of a girl's life. It's also the most judged and scrutinized, both while you're living it and then how you chose to live it in retrospect. People love giving their opinions on what teen and tween girls do and their interests. They're amongst the most criticized, ridiculed, and disrespected groups. And in Hollywood, you almost only see radicalized, unrealistic portrayals of girlhood or its complete erasure, which is harmful, especially to such an influential group. I think girlhood is one of the most influential times in your life, and it's important to see diverse iterations of it on screen. To see careful, nuanced, and genuine depictions of what it's like to be a girl growing up is something that's not only important, but revolutionary. In order for girls to feel understood, they need to see people like them in the media they consume. This is why more films about girlhood, specifically directed, produced, and or written by women, need to be made. So all in all, I would highly recommend the movie. It's a good one, and I hope to see Sonny Sandler in future projects. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you liked it. If you've seen the movie, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Please feel free to check out the other videos on my channel. And to those waiting on my opposites attract video, it is coming. It's in the queue. So sit tight, and thank you for being patient with me. Also, you should definitely subscribe so that you don't miss that video. And also because you become 99% hotter when you press subscribe. That's true. It's a scientific fact. Ask the other subscribers. I wouldn't just make that up. That would be crazy. Okay, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!
darling, you